Dober dan, lep pozdrav vsem skupaj.
I would like to welcome you all. I am to present a model of housing cooperatives. We've been trying to set it up in the Institute Tovarna. We are following the Swiss model. I got enthusiastic in Geneva. That's why we use the logo Swiss contribution. I got familiar with this model, and I've been trying to transfer it to Slovenia, apply it. So the members increase their share in the cooperative and obtain the right to rent a flat with a not-for-profit rental fee. Cooperative is the owner of the flat. The cooperative makes efforts to establish this cooperation and the participation of the members. This is the commitment that is also stipulated in the rules. They call them participatory cooperatives in Switzerland. The next level is that all the members together and the cooperative with the documents committed itself to follow the goals of sustainable development. Our intention was to ignite more interest. This is what all of us who promote cooperatives strive for, and we want to contribute to more quality living culture by taking into account the needs and the wishes of the residents in all segments of providing flats. So this is what happened in recent years. Everybody was investing, constructing flats, not asking whether there are people who would want to live in them. So the principles of housing cooperatives are collective and democratic management of buildings. We are a cooperative, one member, one voice, sustainable development, social cohesion, transparent prices of the construction as well as utilization. This has to be reported to the members. We take all the decisions concerning investments and so on. What are the advantages of the housing cooperative? This is the solution of a housing problem for an indefinite period of time. This is similar to public funds. Once you are in, you have the right to it, unless you violate basic rules. You have signed the contract and it is your flat now. The entitlement to housing subsidies, in most cases, these are market rents. And it provides stable rent. Costs are not fixed, of course. And it has been withdrawn from the market. This flat is not subject to the market speculations any longer. This model can be characterized by a high quality level of living, participation of all residents. This is the enforcement of the principles of sustainable development. Some 60% of solar cells or panels are on the buildings or flats managed by housing cooperatives. A lot of many rooms are shared, and this is rational utilization of space, and therefore rents are lower, costs are also lower. The level of renewability is higher because members are committed to a high level quality of living. So buildings are regularly renewed. What support do we expect from public funds? This is according to the Geneva model. In Geneva, in 2000, they established a special fund for the promotion of housing cooperatives. This was established by the parliament in the county of Geneva. A special fund was provided under certain conditions. Usually we provide guarantee for 15% of the mortgage, or as much as necessary to 95%. 95% are provided in a form of loans from a bank. It's difficult to obtain such a mortgage, and therefore, because special guarantee is required. Usually, the bank provides 70% of the funds according to 100% value of the mortgage. In our case, we should have a national housing fund, or maybe this should be provided at the municipal level. The initial or bridging loan can be provided for the acquisition of all documents, 1 to 2 years, and once the mortgage loan we start to absorb this mortgage loan, these funds are returned. The real estate tax, they are exempt from this real estate tax for a period of 20 years. As for architecture, this is adapted to the quality of social life. Some common rooms and a very friendly external arrangement. Social, there are developed processes of cooperation, ecological, energy saving principle taken into account in the construction. And the flats are provided at a purchase price with the assistance of regional economy. They try to obtain contractors and subcontractors as well as raw materials in the vicinity. For Geneva, this is specific because it is surrounded by France. So mainly they get them in France. This is our first building of our partners in Geneva. Architecturally, these two buildings talk to each other, and these are the balconies which are open and call for people and social interaction. From the other side, a similar story, another building. This is the outside area a yard, playing ground, actually. If we now continue with democratic management of buildings, in the process of construction, there are 10 to 20 meetings organized by the cooperative for the future residents. They have to address different issues from washing machines, the color of windows, doors, and so on, furniture. So they have to decide who will go shopping to purchase this. Cooperative, as the owner of this building, rents it out to the community of residents. This is a special legal entity. They are members of the cooperative, yet they form a kind of association. A contract is concluded, of course, on the management of the building, the budget, democratic decision-making, one person, one voice, social, generational, and cultural diversity. They were lucky since they adopted a kind of a national housing program with guidelines how to organize this kind of living. Social diversity, the inclusion of the elderly population is also an important aspect. So once there is a tender, cooperate can be among the bidders, and the one who meets all the criteria is selected then for a concrete plot of land. So cooperatives really make a lot of effort. Our partner cooperative already carried out projects focusing on the integration of the elderly population. Now they are working on persons with mental disabilities. One is planned for the integration of the disabled. This is a community, one of such communities from the building, very different people as to the educational level, status, age, size of family. There are big and small ones, single and married couples. This is a meeting. There are also elderly people, because sometimes in Slovenia they tend to say that this is something for young people, not for the elderly. So this is not really true. Living together with the architectural characteristics, I already mentioned this. All these buildings have common rooms. We used to have this, I have been told. They utilize them for various celebrations, presentations, kitchen for the children. Primary schools have a break in the morning, so it's great to have something cooked at home. They take care of the children. Each floor has a guest room, and they share it. Automatically, you need one room less. They can use a workshop. This is me in one of the workshops. They can use they can also use the laundry, common laundry. Again, 2 additional square meters. They can co-use cars, balconies. So this is the workshop, laundry. These are big washing machines they purchased themselves, and it works. This is one common joint room. in a building next to that small park, another common room with children, football, table football, ecological aspect. I'm talking about our partner cooperative CODA, but there are more in Geneva. They take into account a higher level of ecological standards. Minergie P Eco in Switzerland. They select local materials with low use of gray energy. I think I have a photo somewhere. No, it was not a very clear one. Between two buildings, they constructed a pool. So that everything is ecological and nature-friendly. Waste separation, of course, photovoltaic energy. In Zurich, as well as in Geneva, 60% of solar panels are on cooperatives buildings. So this is the common denominator of all people living in cooperatives, ecological aspect and social aspect. Environmentally friendly mobility, they always try to connect these buildings with public transport. They have enough parking places for bicycles, a limited number of car parking places. In Ljubljana and elsewhere, they plan 2 parking places for a flat. In Geneva, they do not need that. There are always cars that can be borrowed. Economic aspect, cost efficiency, construction, regional, companies' regional economy, the use of flats at a purchase price, transparent management, and it requires equity, own capital of the members of cooperative, ranging from 5 to 10%. This is one of the flats. These are actually 2 rooms, the kitchen and the living room together. Standards are quite high. The number of rooms and the size of rooms, they always have a room more than the number of family members. If there is only 1, there are 2 rooms. If there are 4 members, it's 5 to 6 rooms. A corridor. And this is what I wanted to share with you. Thank you. Do we have any questions for Blaž? In blocks of flats, this kind of cooperative already happened. Students, namely, and the elderly also have children. We have a problem that the Swiss do not have. What about reverse cooperative? Somebody, for example, suggested, can you join your rights in a cooperative, and then cooperative will do business with us? Probably this is the only solution with this complicated legislation. This is a wonderful model. In addition, through cooperative, we maintain order, noise, and so on. I know that this is a strange question, but this is a problem of many buildings in Ljubljana. The model of management can be catastrophic, the way we have it now. We are theoretic owners of some parking spaces. Nobody knows whose they are. We have no intermediate factor who, on behalf of the owners, would manage them. But we've already had such communities in the past, agricultural mainly, but the model is great. I have to add something. In the European Union, in Europe, in Switzerland, actually, they only have 40% of owned flats. In our case, it's 90%. In Switzerland, yes, 5% of all flats are cooperatives. In cities, up to 20%. Public sector was always very strong in Switzerland. So public sector took care of this. But in last 10 years, cooperatives have been promoted and strengthened. I presented the basic model. In it, I believe it can be applied differently. So people join a cooperative and provide a flat. The flat should be evaluated. If you leave the cooperative, you get this money. So this reverse process could also be in place. Thank you. This is the idea. Have you tried to implement this in Slovenia? And if yes, what were the obstacles? We haven't got that far to see obstacles in the implementation. We have the obstacles in the system. The system still supports owned flat. If you don't have a flat, it means you are poor and you can construct a house on a hill. Grandpa will provide timber, grandma will give you a piece of land, and so on. But property, there is no real estate tax, and this is a huge problem. Somebody has a flat and doesn't care whether it is empty, not used, a lot of capital in the walls, no mortgages, no maintenance. The bank doesn't provide loans for the mortgage. So the system is a problem. But we are making efforts to carry out a pilot project. We will need some goodwill from one of the municipalities as well as the financer. And I hope we will be able to carry this out. After the first example, this should come to life. I'm not against owned flats, but I am against this high share of owned flats. There should be some alternative. I wasn't speaking of this because we are focused on cooperatives today. All developed, stable countries, prosperous ones, have a low share of owned flats. But the countries in transition, Romania, Slovenia, Italy, Spain, and Portugal, in difficulties, in all these countries, this share is very high. I would like an economic institute to explore this area, to research. It's like the discussion about the egg and a hen. I can provide one of the answers. My parents could not invest into anything else but a house. We need to know that you either kept German marks in your sock or you constructed a big house. But this is not a problem because until 1991, there was a normal ratio between owned and rented flats. This was the old system, socialist system. But there are so many empty houses, and the problem is that this fear of people from strange people, from unknown people, prevents from renting these flats and houses out. Also, in Switzerland, people have a choice. Not everybody lives in cooperatives. These are people with a common denominator. They follow certain principles, and they are closer to each other still. So I can see some hope in this.